Ryan Poole, welcome to the Real Build. How you doing today?
Thanks for having me on, Bill. Excited to be here on the podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to have you. You and I started talking after obviously you were connected to Jason Lynn in the Decorators Unlimited. He was just on my last podcast talking some interior design, but today we're going to talk some tech, which I love to talk about, especially in the real estate world. You are doing some big things. You and I had a phone conversation about what you got going on. And I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's a game changer. You're kind of in the early stages of this thing, but I would love for the realtors that listen to this to check you all out too, because I think this is going to be something big. It's very impressive. But before we get into that, let's talk about you a little bit, your life. Who is Ryan Poole?
Yeah, no, thanks, Bill. Thanks for that intro. Yeah, a little bit about myself. I'm originally from northern Minnesota. One
Okay.
of the guys that came down here to Florida, but I've been here now over 20 years, and let me tell you, I love Florida. Moved to the Keys when I first moved down, fell in with the ocean, became a big free diver, scuba diver, and really just immersed myself in the Florida lifestyle. And luckily, I had when I first came, I had a mentor that kind of took me under his wing, and he goes, "This is like I said, over 20 years ago." And he goes, "He's a multimillionaire, and he made his money in real estate." And he said, "Ryan, if there's any advice I can give you, get into real estate. Florida's going to blow up. There's going to be more and more people coming here. Get into it. Get your real estate license. Start learning. You're going to learn to invest." And I took his words to heart, and yeah, it's been a journey ever since. I got my real estate license when I was 20 years old. And so I'm
Uh,
44 now, so 24 years in the business and love it. I mean, my big thing for real estate is, that's really brought me a lot of satisfaction is making a big difference in people's lives. I mean, usually, buying a home is their biggest investment in their life. I've been doing residential, I do some commercial, but in residential, I get a lot of fulfillment. And it's the biggest investment in life, and that's where they make their memories. That's where you make a family. So, and it's been a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same. I grew up. I mean, I'm Midwest guy too. I'm originally from Illinois, but grew up down here primarily. Been over 25 years down here. I love this area. I love Florida. It's definitely grown. I've seen the growth just explode, especially over the last couple of years. We all know everybody mass migrated down here pretty much, but I mean, it's just to see the growth in our area, see Naples and how much it's exploded and how much buildings going on and how far it's getting built out, and same with Marco Island and those areas. And I'm sure you're in the West Palm area now, and even in the Keys, how much that's been developed as well too. It's an awesome career to have. Obviously, real estate isn't easy. It's something that you really got to dedicate yourself to, but have a lot of knowledge about as well, which 20 years of knowledge that you've had has led you to a lot of success in it. And then now you're getting into the tech space on it too. I want to discuss that a little bit more. So you talked about your mentor, and getting into real estate. So you were mostly, did you do some real estate investing, or did you just jump right into residential sales, just helping customers and clients, kind of guiding them? What was your kind of initial thing you
Yeah.
started out with?
So actually, when I got my real estate license, I worked for a developer down in the Keys selling
Oh,
new
nice.
construction, new condos. So that was kind of cut my teeth on that. And it was a great experience, as far as bringing, they were bringing, clients to you, and I was getting great sales experience, but I was learning the business. That
Hmm.
was the big thing, learning development and sales. And as I got into that, I just started doing general real estate, and that was exciting and had a lot of success there as well. And then obviously the big thing that happened, everybody remembers in Florida, is 2008.
Hmm.
When the market crash, and man, it was kind of scary there. Obviously, for a little bit, I had bought some investment properties myself, so I went through that whole process too. And my good friend, a good friend of mine, his name was Bill Bimel. He came to me. He's like, there's going to be a way that all these foreclosures, right, get worked through. And he said, I have an idea. I want to start an asset management company that works with large hedge funds and banks to help them navigate the crash. So we did. We started a company called RSI Asset Management, and that's was incredible. We actually worked with large hedge funds that were buying non-performing loans and distressed assets, and actually helped them navigate the crash and sell the properties. So I did that and one time I had over 250 million under management that we did for
Nice.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, and you getting into kind of that construction sales thing. I've talked about this on past episodes with realtors too, and brokers, is, you know, you getting that experience too. I mean, diving into the construction world, you saw how kind of how things are built, how, you know, the processes are with construction, but that gives you the knowledge too of being able to
Oh,
teach
yeah.
people how, what to look for and buy a property, which is what this show's all about too. So
Yeah.
commend you on that as well, for sure.
Having a knowledge as a real estate professional, especially as an agent of new construction, of the quality construction, what goes into it,
Hmm.
and be able to transfer that to your potential buyers is huge. You know, and as markets shift, you know, things are shifting now, right? You have to be more knowledgeable as a real estate professional. So I would definitely give that advice to anybody, is any agent, is connect with a good builder and spend some time with them and learn, you know, the construction, because things are changing all the time as well. You know, construction stuff.
Especially, well, especially now, like you said, I mean, people that just got their licenses, let's say 2 years ago or a year ago or whatever, they were in a market that literally you can walk in a house, you can put a sign in front of the house and it will sell. You know, they didn't have to do anything. And now it's shifting to the normal market. We're getting a little bit normal. Like you and I have been through this market, or even a bad market too. Like I got into real
Mm-hmm.
estate in 2012 when the market was kind of starting to come back. 2008, I was selling cars.
Mm-hmm.
I was young. I was 20 years old and selling cars, and had no idea what markets were doing or anything, which I guess kind of benefited me in the car business because I wasn't worried
Yeah.
about or stressed about the outside world. You know, I was just there to sell cars, and but you know, getting into it in 2012 and going through the slow processes of really having to show a house and really having to promote a house and learn how to do that and get people into it and get people interested and actually learn the negotiation tactics, because a
Yeah.
lot of people haven't had to do that the last couple of years either. Things were
Exactly.
selling, you know.
No, it's true. I mean, people have to work a little bit harder now, and you have to be more knowledgeable as an agent, real estate professional, no matter what part of the, you know, industry you're in. And it's really coming to a point here where people realize how powerful your connections are. You know, your network, right? Your people that you work with, and having those people with contacts, you know, those
Hmm.
good builders in your quiver, right? When you get a client, like I'm working with a client right now that's looking at doing some new construction here, and definitely want to talk to you on that. You know, some things like that. You have to have those kind of connections now when the market starts to shift.
Well, that sets me up perfectly for my next topic here, and
Yeah.
that's real trade and what you're doing too, and forming
Mm-hmm.
connections and so on too. I want to get into this because like you and I had that phone call and discussion about what you got going on, and I want this audience to hear everything about it. So let's start out with, what is real trade? Why did you start it? And then we'll kind of go from there. You know, the
Yeah.
basis of it and how it operates.
Yeah, let me start with the big why, because this is a, you know, a big one that I had. Is I'm going through this journey, right? I've been over 20 years in real estate and have all this experience that I had. And you know, after the crash, and I started getting back into general real estate, and I said, wow, you know, things are really changing here with these big, large portals out of Silicon Valley. You know, like Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia,
Hmm.
you know, Redfin. And it was crazy to me as I'm building this, you know, business, trying to build a, you know, general real estate business, and I'm getting these listings and working hard, which, you know, as agents, you know, we work hard for our listings. We got
Hmm.
to, you know, network, you know, spend good times with sellers, and we work hard to get the photos. We pay for those. We put them on the MLS. By the way, we pay the MLS for the right to put our listings there, right? And then they
Hmm.
take them and put, you know, put them over to Zillow. Zillow gets them, and then they populate, you know, their platforms with our data, with the agents' hard work, their data. And I
Hmm.
was like, you know, the crazy thing is they covered me up, is they didn't allow the public to even know who I was, right? And even after I sold the property, the public didn't know. So I'm like, wow, I mean, here's this future of real estate is going online. You can see where buyers and sellers are going to do their research, and no one knows who I am. Like I can't build an online presence. And I was like, man, this is something here. In the way that they obviously monetize their platform with that data is they make the agents bid against ourselves for the right to talk to buyers and sellers.
Hmm.
So, you know, come to find out, I'm actually bidding against my colleagues in the area that I know for the right to talk to buyers and sellers. And like, I got in pretty much bed with these guys, and I'm spending thousands of dollars a month to talk to people off my own, you know, data in the area. So, yeah, it's a crazy convoluted business model, right? And everybody loses because number one, the agents can't build a real online presence, right? And build a business, right? Number two, the buyers and sellers aren't talking to the agents, in that area. They're just sold as a lead to the highest bidder, right? And the big thing is they're not getting the best data because remember, Zillow's selling leads, from that data. So they're, if the property's under contract, they're leaving it up, which is a lot of frustration for buyers and sellers. So anyway, I wanted to solve that problem. Okay, long story short. So that's when the idea for RealTrade came to me. I said, wow, what if we did this thing a whole different way? What if we basically brought transparency to the marketplace, right? Where we allowed buyers and sellers to network with agents, and we don't monetize that, that part of the cycle at all. Because guess what? There's a lot of people that want to network with agents. And who are those? All the service providers, title companies, mortgage companies, inspectors, appraisers, builders, contractors, designers. I said, what if we could bring everybody into a place where everybody can get connected and do business more efficiently? So that was the impetus for RealTrade. And let me tell you something. We launched a little over a year ago. And right now we have almost 800 agents, from which I'm really proud of, from over 90 different brokerages now using RealTrade, right? We have thousands of buyers and sellers. And the big one is now we have the service providers like Decorators Unlimited, like these awesome inspectors and lenders and all these people now communicating on the platform.
I mean, when you first told me about this too, I loved the idea of it because we're the type of builder. I mean, we get a lot of referrals from realtors, and there's a lot of great realtors that we work with that are, they're heavy hitter realtors, but they always refer us. They send us business. They send us great clients. And we obviously pay them a commission for it as a builder. A lot of builders, some builders don't do that. Some builders do in our general area. It's kind of a common thing, but even in our general area, some builders refuse to do it. But we do it because if the realtor's kind of a big asset to us, because I mean, they're the first part of that transaction. People are buying a lot, they're using a realtor. So that realtor, they're going to trust right away. They gain trust in that realtor. They're working with them. And then that realtor, they're going to ask that realtor, who do you recommend to build me a house? And then that's where we come in too, and we get that referral too. But you're connecting, even to connect on a broader scale too, because building an online presence is huge. Everybody needs to do that. The problem with Zillow is a lot of people rely on Zillow for the leads. They don't really rely on building a presence. I'm big on online. That's all I do. I've never bought Zillow leads ever.
You have a great presence.
Yeah, and I've sold a lot of real estate too through just doing online presence, doing consistency with videos, and kind of showcasing what to look for in the real estate industry, but plus construction knowledge like we talked about. But to have you come in and do what you're doing and connect everybody, it just makes life a lot easier too, to where if you got somebody on your coast that wants to move to my coast over here on the West Coast and is looking for a good builder, you can have that quality lead for that realtor to refer. That realtor gets, a referral fee, and everybody's happy. Their client's happy. We get paid. They get paid. Their client's happy in a new house. And, and then it's awesome what you're doing, because I've never seen, everybody relies on Zillow. Everybody relies on realtor.com to bring in an element of being able to have everybody in one place, to where they can get the realtor, get the mortgage guy, get the guy that's going to the title company, get the builder, get the decorator, everybody's there, and it's a seamless process. And that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, it is. Just trying to bring efficiency to the market and, and discovery, right? I mean, that you can discover, because I mean, agents, you need a good builder. You need someone you can trust, and, you want to have those contacts. You can't advertise, like you said, on Zillow, right? First of all, if they allow builders to even advertise, but it gets very expensive. So, having those connections, it's a win-win for everybody. And that's kind of how I try to, my real estate career, as you know, I've been doing this for over 20 years, is, I've tried to set up these situations where everybody can win, where everybody comes away from a transaction where they feel good about it. I was never one of those agents, even early in my career, where I was like, I have to get one over on these people, and I've always tried to structure the deals that way, where everybody feels like they have a good part of the deal.
I love that. I mean, like you just said, everybody can win, and having that mindset too is what's a game changer to you. That's what makes a difference with you too, and
Yeah.
in your real estate career and everything.
It is. And, as things are shifting here, right? Things are like, obviously, things are happening. Everybody's watching the market of what's happening with the interest rates. And, it's now, become more important to have your network, right? Of your connections, even with other real estate agents, if you're a real
Hmm.
estate professional that you have to help you sell homes, to be top of mind with them, to see, the updates for their properties. So, to give like a kind of a high level, just so what everybody knows, like a 30,000 foot version of what RealTrade is, it's an online marketplace. So similar to Zillow, where people can search for homes for sale, right? Buyers and sellers.
Hmm.
But then we have the whole social component. So I tell everybody, think of it like LinkedIn mixed with Zillow, but only for real estate. But the big thing is that we have a whole different business model. So we're bringing total transparency, connect, get the best agents in the industry, get the best other real estate professionals, whether it's a lender, and connect with them and do business. And big thing is, since we allow the agents to basically own their data on RealTrade, okay, is they can
Hmm.
give additional information on their listings. So, this was one big, like, really pain point for me with Zillow was, I'm sitting there looking at my Zillow, you know, property on Zillow, my listing, and I'm like, God, I've had, 1,000 views. I've had 25 saves on this thing, and I can't communicate with the public.
Yeah.
Whether they or an agent that's looking at this, I'm like, God, I can't. The only thing they hear from me, maybe if I like reduce the price, they might get pinged. I'm like, what if there was a way that I could communicate with those people? And that's the beautiful thing about RealTrade is, since we're open here, the listing agent can update their listing in real time. Like, hey, I had 4 showings today. You might not want to wait on this if you're interested in this.
That's it.
So I know any that gets attached to listing, and we also ping the buyers and sellers that save that property, right? Say, hey, this listing has just been your listing you saved just been updated by the listing agent. Come and check that out. So it's kind of a cool way for sales to help everybody, so they're not missing out, on anything.
I I like that a lot because I mean, one thing that does drive you nuts is on Zillow. You get a lot of agents check it. They're like, "How many views did I get?" And then you can't do anything with it, And it's like this property's getting viewed, this saved this amount, X amount of times, and a bunch of times, but you can't communicate with them. You don't know who their realtor is. You don't know who they are. You can't say, "Hey, are you interested? Can I show you more? Do you have questions?" You can't reach out to anybody. And I mean, obviously, in this business too, in any business, communication's the biggest part, and you
It
can't
is.
communicate at all with Zillow. All you see is a number.
It is just like an algorithm. It's real estate's a very relationship business, and here we're just
Mhm.
taking that whole process out of the equation with Zillow, and it just with these other portals. So it's something like, man, let's bring the people back in here. You need a good trusted professional. I mean, I can't say how much great value there is of getting connected with the best professionals. Even a builder like yourself, get connected with a really quality builder that's going to build you a good home. Save you a lot of headaches in the future, save you a lot of money, all these things. Same with a good, real estate agents, same with a good title agent, same with a good, all these different people that are involved in real estate. I mean, inspector. I mean,
Mhm.
that's one of the best investments you can have as a buyer. Have a good inspector,
Yeah.
that you can.
And
Yeah.
I guess my next question to you too, as you were saying that, I was just thinking about this is, how on your platform can you distinguish if it is a good builder, or if it is a good inspector, or if is it just
Mm-hmm.
word of mouth? Is it just, and I obviously word of mouth runs far. That's a very important thing,
Yeah.
especially in our world as builders too. We get a lot of business word of mouth, but how can you guarantee it's going to be a quality builder too, or like I'm just looking at my world, or a good realtor too, because
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of realtors now, especially now. I mean, the licenses
Mm-hmm.
shot up. It's just like every time things are busy, they all shoot up, and then things go back to normal, and people start kind of
Yeah.
doing other things and so on. And your main guys stick around. And same with building. So how do you kind of
Yeah.
figure that out?
So the big one for the agents, this is something, because we're bringing transparency. So when the agents on RealTrade, they create a profile, okay,
Okay.
when they sign up, and we bring in all their listings for them and their sold listings. So, I mean, right there, people can look at the property, the buyers and sellers look at the property, and like, okay, who's this
Oh,
agent? This
nice.
is this agent. Let me check the profile, and they can see where they're selling property. They can actually
Hmm.
see right there if they're doing business in that area,
Good.
what kind of business they're doing, how much business they've done. So that's huge, right? Now for the builder, the big way and the big thing they too, because they can see how many followers they have, how many buyers, sellers they have following them, and how many other agents they're connected with. Because
Hmm.
remember, big value for real estate professionals, how big their network is. They're going to help you find deals. That's going to help you find deals, help you sell the home. Now, same with the builder is we create a profile for a build for like you for a builder that would sign up.
Nice.
You then can connect with other agents, right? And they want to see like how many agents that you have that are basically connected with you. Because the more
Hmm.
people, obviously, the more reputable you are. But what we are building in is for the service providers, because we just launched that feature where service providers are on there about a couple months ago, is we're going to allow the agents to basically recommend and give recommendations for the service providers, which is pretty going to be huge. So there would
Yeah.
actually be, pretty much recommendations from the actual community itself.
I love that. Yeah, because I mean, are you going to be able to, like, as a builder, kind of showcase past homes you've built to on the profiles, or is it just kind of
Yeah. So
okay?
we're going to allow you to do photos. Right now you can upload videos, so you can do some, videos under your profiles, showcase your product of what you're doing, and you can have testimonials, obviously, on the videos and all that kind of stuff. And you can have a nice bio. And then the cool thing on your profile, what we do for the agents and the service right, is you can link all your other accounts. So you can link your social media accounts, you can link your website.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell you something. This is something that's important. And I tell, if you're a buyer or seller looking for good agents or any kind of service right, what kind of presence do they have online?
Mm.
Dude, you can check out the presence on RealTrade. You can go on RealTrade, check the other social media presences, because that goes a long way as far as helping you, sell your home or, purchase a home as their network.
Oh, that's huge because I'm a big believer. Obviously, having a social media presence like yourself too is just huge because people can see who you truly are. They can see if they want to work with you or not just through social media. I've talked about this on past episodes that people can listen to too. I've had many people that are powerhouses on social media as well, but it's such a big deal too because I look at myself in a lot of situations too, and if I'm looking for, let's say, a realtor, if I'm looking for a builder in another area, I'm going to want to see if they have a presence on social media because that's how I am, and I
Yeah.
want to see who they are, how they work, how they operate, that they actually care,
They care.
and that's just and their personality and how it stands out and it's huge. So to put that in and pull that into your platform is amazing because nobody else is doing that too. It's all
Yep.
let's keep everything on our platform. Why should we pull them away? But that kind of goes into the greediness of the big guys that are like, we want to keep you here. You're going to click on
Yep.
properties here. You're going to know nobody else. You're going to know nothing else that's going on besides our platform. And that's where your game changer right there.
Yeah, we're bringing transparency, like you said. I mean, you want to, and let's face it, the consumers are becoming smarter. They want to do some due diligence on who they're working for. They want to know the personality, the character, because that's they want to know those things because usually people have a good character and personality, and are out there. They have an online presence, right? They have a reputation. They're going to uphold that reputation. They're not going to put that into jeopardy, right? So they're going to
Mm-hmm.
treat you well. It goes a long way. So that's, like I said, I mean, that's why we built RealTrade. I mean, we're a marketplace, a social media platform for real estate, social platform for real estate. So yeah, it's exciting. It's a different model. It's
Yeah.
it's just it's just a whole way of looking at different. And good thing is, like I said, we're getting a lot of traction here. I mean, we've had you know, we had this thesis, right? This is when I launched, like I said, a little over a year ago. Like, what if the real estate market does change? Because everything was so hot, like I said, a little over a year ago. So, what if things do change? How's that going to affect real trade? And I had this thesis. I said, well, if things do change, there's going to be more of a reason for agents and service providers to be on real trade, to be on real trade. And it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
more competitive, it's going to be, they're going to have to network. And that was my thesis, right? They're going to have to work a little harder to sell. They're going to network, and it is. I mean, we had 100 agents, almost 100 agents in the last 10 days sign up on RealTrade.
Mm. Wow. I
I
was gonna say, I was
know.
gonna say that too. With the shift of the market too, more people are gonna need something like you. They're gonna need more resources because it's not gonna be easy anymore. I mean, it's shifted already. I mean, things aren't just selling overnight. I mean, listings are sitting a lot longer now, unless they're
Yeah.
priced just like really good. They're sitting a lot longer than they were. Things aren't selling overnight. The realtors are realizing they're like, okay, I have a license now. I got fees. I got MLS fees. I got all these different things I'm paying. Money's not coming in as easy as it was before. What do I do? And that's
Yeah.
when you got to go back to the old school way of network, build your network, build
Network.
part. Yeah.
Build.
Start talking to people, start getting other resources besides just, everybody works their circle, but your circle's going to dry up here soon. And, people are going to kind of tighten up with their cash, and then you're going to have to find the next avenue. What better place to figure that out than a platform like your platform, to where you can communicate and see what professionals are doing? What are you guys doing? What's going on? How can I sell more on, oh, you're doing that on your coast, or you're doing that up there. Okay.
Hmm.
Maybe I should
Yeah.
give that a shot.
Exactly. And big features we're moving into other markets is we're going to have a referral network in RealTrade where agents can refer buyers and sellers to other
Mhm.
agents, which is awesome. Which could be another good revenue income source, right? When they're not just you're handing off your buyer that's looking forward onto Zillow, and then Zillow's making up the difference. You could
Mhm.
actually set it up with on RealTrade to have that. Yeah, no, getting all those connections is huge. I mean, as far as RealTrade, when an agent updates their listing on RealTrade, not only do all the thousands of buyers and sellers see it right in real time, and it's cool. We give them like a little differentiator on the map. We put like a little lightning bolt, so it's kind of the buyers and sellers can see like, hey, something's happening with this. What is it?
That's
And they
cool.
check it out, right? They get more views that way. But when they give those live listing updates, um, that goes to the whole network. There's almost 800 agents that see that.
Mhm.
So it's pretty cool. It's top of mind for the sales to help them sell properties quicker, especially if they have some kind of awesome update like, hey, the seller's now doing a rate buy down. They're
Mhm.
actually offering credit now to help your buyers buy down the rate.
Hmm.
I mean, what a great value add for that. You might not even know that. Now you're like, holy my God, my buyers have been complaining about the rate. They're looking here at this home in West Palm Beach in this area. They call them up, hey, we have a rate buy down for this property. You want to go take a look at it?
That's what, yeah. Wow.
It's things like that, I mean, that have it that, that can't be done on other platforms. So that's why we're seeing too a lot more influx of, buyers and sellers on the platform because they're getting better data, getting more information than they could, at other platforms too.
Yeah, I want to go into that a little bit too, as you said we're bringing human connection back to the heart of real estate too, and I want to go into kind of how the platform is connecting, and how that works, and how people. I mean, we talked about it a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's discuss this a little bit more and how you're doing it in the process,
Yeah.
because this is the main heart of the platform, is the connection element of it, and basically
Yeah.
helping people come together. Obviously, right now you're just in Florida, I think, and then you're going to start expanding out a little bit more. But you're in the early stages of this thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's growing pretty fast. So let's talk about connection.
Yeah. So that's the big one, is this discovery, whether you're a builder, whether you're, inspector or, a real estate agent is, you got to have some kind of discovery. It's the cool thing on RealTrade is we have a whole discovery feature where people, buyers and sellers, or agents or service provider can go on to RealTrade and look for the agents and other service providers
That's
and
good.
search for them in that specific area
Mm.
that they want to be in and connect with them. So that's big. So there's a whole search feature for that. Okay. But another big one is this agent discovery through the social aspect. Is you can see the agents that are actually posting and service providers that are actually posting updates in real time. I mean, like we just had yesterday, AKA a new construction project here in downtown West Palm that's having an exclusive preview, for their project today, actually. And they posted it yesterday, inviting, agents in the public to come view it, right? So
Hmm.
there's this whole discovery process, to you and your business through the social aspect. And people can send colleague requests. They like, hey, I like what you're doing, Bill. I want to follow. I want to connect with you here on RealTrade. You send your colleague request. You connect it. Now they're in your profile. Now they're as one of your colleagues on RealTrade. So think of it as like the electronic, old school electronic Rolodex. That you have your Rolodex now of your builder and your inspector. You can search them on your profile. Like, hey man, I need an inspector. Oh, that's right. I got a couple of them on RealTrade. Let me go and check them out. Okay, phone numbers right there, email, couple clicks, you're calling them, right through the app. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's going to be your game changer too. And if this, I have no doubt. I was about to say, if this keeps moving forward, I have no doubt it's going to too, because it's the elements that you're saying too is just in comparison. I mean, connection's the biggest thing that everybody needs, and that's the communication's the biggest thing that everybody needs, and that's what these other platforms are missing. And that's what I was going to ask you on the next question is, how can you outproduce the big guns? Like Zillow's been in business for so long. They got a ton of money. Realtor.com's got a ton of money, and you're a newer startup kind of in the process of getting this thing going. It's how do you compete with those guys? And what if they came out and offered you money to get rid of you? What would you do? So.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the thing is too, this is where I think our secret sauce is coming from, is we're embracing the real estate community.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, they're walling you off. So we're embracing the community and going, hey, agents, this is your platform just as much as, things where you can build your online presence, tell your clients about it, tell your service providers, tell them to come on here, tell your colleagues. This is opening transparent place where you can build an online presence. And the big thing we have at RealTrade, and this is kind of our secret sauce, is we have this gamification with a point system that we basically allow if the agents refer other agents or service providers, they get points. Same with the service providers. And the more points that they have, basically, the more exposure that they get on the platform for their listings in their actual profile, right? That they get a chance to talk more about yourself, which equals more money for them in the end of the day. But this is our secret sauce here. This is something that's really at the heart. Is I really believe in the real estate professionals this much, and this is something is we're going to allow the agents to own RealTrade. I've set aside a certain amount of equity of RealTrade where I'm going to allow the agents and service providers to earn shares of stock through the point system. Yes, that they can actually earn shares of stock, so they can gain value back from the platform itself. Yeah. That's kind of the web 3.0, business model. So we're going to allow basically, the ones that are adding value to RealTrade to own it, and as this thing grows. Yeah. Which you're kind of familiar, I'm sure, with like the EXP model, right? With the brokerage model. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, but this is the layer that any agent can participate in, doesn't have to be a certain brokerage. And this RealTrade, takes off, right? They get to ride that up too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, to have a platform, obviously you have your LinkedIn's, your Facebook, stuff like that, and people can connect through groups on Facebook or groups on LinkedIn, but to have a general platform to where you can bring real estate professionals together and buyers and, sellers where they can find and connect with, like I said this earlier, just the whole entire process. Like everybody is in one room, one space, and it just makes life easier to where they can, through recommendations and referrals and so on. And it's a community, and it's building that community, which is huge too, especially when things kind of slow down or go down or pull back or whatever. I mean, at any time, even when things are busy and people are just trying to find resources too. I mean, in the construction business, we're still busy right now. We have a backlog of houses, that we're still trying to find a resource. It's just finding.
That's what I mean. Like, why could, there could be, painters, right, and other subs on the platform too that you could even connect with it.
Yeah.
Some connections to help you because, I mean, even look what Angie's List did. Do you see what they did? I mean, try to go through that process and look for someone. It's incredible. You can't even get on there and find anyone.
Yeah.
It's just everybody tries to wall off that garden, right?
Yeah.
And we're just taking a whole different approach to this thing. And like I said, where everybody can win. I mean, the agents need a great network to help sell. The buyers, sellers need the best professionals, and let's bring them together and tear down these walls.
Yeah, I love it. And so Last question. I'm going to get into some personal questions before the or after this
Yeah.
one. But as far as the buyer, we kind of talked about how this will benefit the buyer. What about the seller with this platform too? How can it benefit? I mean, we'll talk about both the buyer and the seller, because obviously this show's about the clients, the people,
Yeah.
providing resources to them too. Obviously you're going to have a ton of resources there. We talked about where they can find everybody, but a seller going into it, let's target them actually, because we talked about buyers. If I'm a seller looking for an agent, how can I qualify that agent compared to other ones on your platform to be the best person that's going to sell my house?
Yeah, so this is the big one, and I built this. The cool thing is if you're a seller, right, and you're looking at other listing appointments that people are coming and interviewing for you, is like I said, is like, what kind of network does this agent have? Okay, are they going to just put this property on the MLS, or do they actually have a big social presence? So number one, you could go on a RealTrade and check out the agents that have a big network on RealTrade
Mm,
of other real estate professionals. Because the reality is, it's probably going to be sold, by another buyer's agent, right? So what kind of network does this listing agent have? Does he have a lot of agents in his network that he can communicate and push this listing out to? Another big is like, how many followers does he have on RealTrade and other social media accounts, right? You could see that. You could check that listing agent's profile and see all those connections that he has literally right there, like just with a couple clicks. But here's the big one, right? If you're a listing agent, if you're selling your house, what kind of business does that listing agent do in your area, right? So you could go on there on the RealTrade and be like, wow, this agent crushes it. He
yeah.
sells pretty much all waterfront homes in Jupiter, and look at all these homes he's sold, and say like, wow, this is probably the agent that I might want to go with. And then of course do some more research, check his followers, his colleagues, and his other social
That's
accounts right
cool.
there.
The resources are all right there. Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
doing
what a couple clicks. That's what I said. Make it efficient, because that's the problem people had. Like, like on Zillow, like no one knows anybody. Can you imagine you're getting just kind of some kind of random call? You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, from someone who's like Zillow, like connects you and you don't know nothing about the person, you know?
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, it's awesome what you're doing. I was very impressed when you talked to me about it on the phone. I mean, it's
Uh,
yeah, I think it's definitely going to be huge. It's a game changer,
And it
and
is. I mean, and same with like if you're looking for a builder, right? And you're sitting there like, let me check them out. Like, let me see who this person is, and it's all right there. Same with a title agent or attorney.
mhm.
Like, I mean, a good real estate attorney is another one that can pay you back in spades.
Mm.
You know, that you can have, especially if it's a more difficult deal or a really large deal. And yeah, we have those on the trade too.
Well, I'm a broker and a builder, so I might need you to alter my profile so I could have both on there. So
You can make two. You can make two. You can make one as a broker and then one as a builder. Yeah.
yeah, there we go. That'd be awesome. But this has been awesome, Ryan. I want to get into personal questions too to wrap this up.
Sure.
I always ask this question to everybody, my favorite question on this show. What about you personally? You're building obviously an amazing brand, amazing company. What lessons have you learned throughout your journey that we can all apply to our own business or our own lives that can help us grow?
Yeah, this is something that I was actually thinking about this morning, and it really comes down to those connections and building a good team.
Mm,
And it's I can't express this enough of how lucky I am to have an amazing team on RealTrade. Our marketing team, our developers, you know, they're amazing. We got Daniel, our CTO, incredible. Ryan Beckett, head of product, Christine and Tanis doing the marketing, and Latoro doing a lot of the coding. And, they show up every single day,
mm.
a big smile on their face, excited about RealTrade and where we're going and the growth that we've had. And I tell you, at the end of the day, you know, it's something that really gets me up in the morning is being there for them and having them be on being on RealTrade. Um, that's exciting. So I'd say that like you can't do this alone. If you're an entrepreneur and you're building anything, even a builder like you, I'm sure you have a great team, right? That you have to motivate and get up in the morning and get excited. And when you have a good team, that goes a long, long ways.
I love that answer because it is one of the most important things in any business too, is the team and the people you surround yourself with is by far. I mean, especially what you're doing, and then obviously in the building industry too, you got to have the right people, the right performers, the right, and it's important, and it's important to keep those people on your side too, and because they're the company. I mean, they're what makes the product, they're what makes things roll, they're what builds a house, they're what keeps things, the engine going. So it's love that answer. I always get great answers on that question every single time, so great answer on that.
Yes.
I always ask this question. Most people talk about your past. What about your future? Where will we see Ryan 10, 15, 20 years from now? Who will you be?
Yeah, I guess one thing is like building RealTrade and obviously want it to be a big success. And the big thing is like, I've want to make a positive difference in people's lives. It's the one reason I got into real estate. One thing about the team, I want to be something positive, make something good for them. Is like I want to be able, hopefully 10, 15 years from now, is helping a lot of people,
Mm,
build wealth, through real estate, build their businesses, through RealTrade and make a real positive difference in people's life. I think if that's, something, the legacy that I can leave 15 years from now, I'd be very excited for that.
I think that's the difference maker with you compared to other companies, is that you're all about helping other people rather than just yourself. And then when you get into, when you have that perspective and that mindset, that's where success comes from. So I have no doubt you're going to have success with this too, with RealTrade, because that answer right there, that that proves it. So that's the
Wow.
show. Let's wrap it. So
Wow, Bill, thanks. It is. It's something that just, as I think about this, is like, we only have one life, right? Life's short. It's kind of cliche, but it's kind of true. As I've gotten older now, I'm in middle age, and I was just like, and I have a son, I have a 6-year-old son, and I was like, what kind of world do we want to leave? Do we
mhm.
want to make something better? Do we want to help people? Because no matter how rich you get, there's that old saying, there's never a U-Haul behind a hearse. It's going to be the people, the memories that are left behind, and if people can look back and say, "Wow, that guy made a big difference.
Love it.
He did something positive."
Love it. Love it. Last question, what the show's
Mhm.
all about. What exactly do people need to look for when looking for real estate software, and why should they choose RealTrade as their go-to software of choice?
Yeah, I think the one thing to look for, and this is we kind of touch on it, is this walled off garden. Is the platform keeping information from you? Are they not allowing you to see who people are? Are they not giving
Mm,
you the best information? If they're not, I would look for something else. Because let's face it, buying a home, selling a home, the biggest financial, transaction you're going to have in your life. It's the best wealth generator, and you want all the information, you want all the best real estate professionals. So look out for a platform that provides that. I mean, total transparency. I think that's the future of business. I
mhm.
think that's what the consumers want, and that's something that is very important.
I think you're right. I think, more people want community, more people want to be able to talk to each other and communicate with each other. I mean, we found out during the pandemic is, that shutting people away from each other, nobody liked it. People didn't want to be locked in their homes. They want to just be able to work together. We're people, we're human beings. We need to,
Exactly.
we're
It's
meant to
social.
communicate. We're meant to talk to each other and socialize and get out and work together too. And that's what you're doing with this. You're bringing people together too, unlike the other, your competition, who is just, it's me, 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 pay
Yeah.
me, you get a lead, and that's it.
Yeah.
So this is,
Yeah.
I got no doubt, Ryan, this is a game changer. You're going to have a lot of success with this.
Okay. Thanks, Bill. I mean, it's been great knowing you. I'm excited. I want to see your building. I want you to get to start building some properties over here in the West Palm area. We're
That's
blowing
the
up here
plan.
too. Get over here because there's a lot of. I mean, it's crazy. The builders, obviously are backed up here too, so we need more here. And
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
great.
that's the long term goal is there. I'd love to be over there. I'd love to, my long term vision. I've said it on this show is, I want to be one of basically the top luxury builder in the state. And that's a mission to get there. It's a mission to get to St. Pete, those areas, Tampa, Sarasota, but little baby steps too. I'm still
You're
young,
doing it. You're
and we're
doing it.
doing
You're
it.
doing it,
So
brother. You got some time. You got a great reputation, from everything that I've read, and I want
mhm,
to get over there and see
yeah,
your
for
product,
sure.
and you know, let's keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely stay in touch after this, obviously. And then where can people find you though, Ryan, and connect with you last thing before we wrap this up?
I mean, the easiest way is going to RealTrade. So it's realtrade.io. You can just Google RealTrade, will come up. And nice thing for buyers, sellers is free. You can follow me, some other agents. Like I said, find the real estate professionals, the good lenders there, and connect with me on there. You can also too send me an email at Ryan Poole, RyanPoole at realtrade.io. Any questions there? Of course, we're all over social media, as you know, all over all there. You can follow us on all the other social media handles too.
And then are they able from other states to use the product yet, or is that coming soon?
Yeah, so buyers and sellers, they can, as
Okay.
a member, they can, it's free. Service providers too, they can be anywhere and sign up. If
Oh,
they
good.
want to
Okay.
network with agents and stuff in South Florida, they can do that as well. We don't have the data yet, obviously, throughout the whole country yet. So it's just, South Florida here, but we're coming. We want, our goal here is to be the trusted global marketplace and community for real estate. And that's our long-term goal for RealTrade.
Love it. Love it. Ryan, this has been awesome, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your time today too.
Thanks for
It's
having me on, Joe.
yeah,
It's just this is what it is. This is real estate. I'm just telling you, it's the connections, right? It's those personal connections, getting to know people, building that know, like, and trust, and that's real estate. That's what I love about the industry.
it definitely is. And building community and connections and talking like this. And that's the
It
future of real
is.
estate, no doubt. But this has been awesome. For everybody listening, thank you all for listening to the show. And please like, comment, share, subscribe, 5-star reviews on iTunes. And I will see you guys on the next episode.